ask Allah to keep you studying. It's all in Allah's hands. Allah's kept you guys here studying. So many things came in your life, but Allah made it easy for you to attend. And all of a sudden, one small illness of the body, and finish. Or one problem in the family can stop everything. One problem at work, everything can just come to a standstill. So you always do shukr to Allah, study hard, make dua to Allah, and do istighfar, lots of istighfar. Allah will keep you on the path, inshallah. Okay, so look at this now. Now, next, this is another masla. This is before we do the Jummah masla. Yeah. Well, actually, let's go to the Jummah masla first of all, and then we'll come back to this one. Now, look, in Jummah, can the qada of Jummah be done? If you miss Jummah, can you do like qada of Jummah? No, it's not it. So therefore, with that respect, Jummah is the same as Janazah, and it's the same as Eid. However, the difference between Jummah and Eid and Janazah is what? Yeah, if you can't do Jummah, you can do Zuhr. Does that make sense? So therefore, based on that, would you be allowed to do taymum for Jummah? No. You can't do taymum for Jummah. So وَلَا يَتَيَمُّمْ لِجُمَّةِ وَإِنْ خَافَ الْفَوْتِ لَوْ تَوَضَّعَ. Even if he fears that he's going to miss his Jummah, if he was to do wudu. What should he do? فَإِنْ أَدْرَكَ الْجُمَّةِ صَلَّاهَا. After doing wudu, if he gets Jummah, he prays it. وَإِلَّا صَلَّى الظُّهْرَ أَرْبَعًا. Otherwise, what does he do? He prays 4 rakats of dhuhr. Simple as that. Yeah, just like sometimes you're at work, you can't get time off, or you're on the motorway, you can't get to Jummah, and so what do? You just pray dhuhr. لأنها تفوت إلى خلف. Because Jummah, it's missed, but in place of Jummah you can do something else called a khalf, a substitute. There's a substitute for Jummah, وهو الظهر بخلاف العيد, as opposed to Salat al-Eid. If you miss Eid, there is no substitute for it. Does that make sense? Likewise for all the other salats. Let's say there's only a bit of time left for Asr to finish. Can you do taymum? No. Just miss it. Yeah. So these salats, that's why it says وَكَذَا إِذَا خَافَ فَوْتَ الْوَقْتِ. Likewise, if he thinks he's going to miss the time of a salat. He wakes up, he's got 2 minutes left for Fajr, and he thinks, if I do my wudu, I'll miss Fajr, but if I quickly do tayammum here, I can get it. No. كذا إذا خاف فوت الوقت لو توضع لم يتيمم. He's not allowed to do tayammum. ويتوضع ويقضي ما فاته. Does wudu. If he has enough time after that to pray the salat, he prays. If he does not have enough time to pray the salat, he does qada. لأن الفوات إلى خلف. Because the fawat is done to something that is substitute. وهو القضاء. Everyone understand that? Okay, now look at this masla. This is a tricky masla. You got to think of it here. Let's say there's Eid going on here. Yeah. So this is a big field. Eid is going on. Imam's there. People are all there. Remember this now. In them days, when they used to pray Eid, they never used to pray in a mosque. They used to pray Eid in a field, open field. So Imam's there. People are there. Where's the place to do wudu? If you've gone to, let's say, the plain fields, the park, to pray your Eid, how far would the closest place to do wudu be? Yeah, quite far, isn't it? And then on top of that, what other problem do you have? You have lots of people there as well. Okay, so because of all these things, you have lots of problems there. So look at this now. So there's the Imam, he's praying Eid. There's the people who are behind him, they're praying Eid. Now all of a sudden, inside the salat, a person breaks their wudu accidentally. So remember I said to you before, according to the Hanafis, if a person accidentally breaks their salat, breaks their wudu rather, if a person accidentally breaks their wudu inside a salat, all they do is go, perform wudu, come back and join the salat again, from wherever they left off. Yes, everyone understand that? So now the question is this. Let's say a guy in this Eid, whether it's the Imam or whether it's the follower, breaks his wudu. Shouldn't he go to do his wudu and come back? Yes or no?
No, yes.
Should he?
Yeah.
That's the qiyas. So he should do. But in this case, would he be allowed to do tayammum? Yes or no? What would you say? What reason could possibly occur that would allow him to do tayammum?
The fact that because he's so busy and the wudu place is so far away, there's like an inability there.
So what would happen if it's so far away?
Also, by the time you get there somewhere, because as part of that you can't speak to anyone, you can't delay it. So with all these people there, probably after they don't eat salah, or say even volunteer one thing, you just, is there a risk that it breaks his,
And what would happen if he breaks his?
and I say you can't repeat it.
Would there be an issue if he breaks it?
If he breaks, if he breaks it, then there's no repeating of Eid.
Or can he join the Imam again?
Or they
Can't make it back.
You won't make it back?
You won't be able to make it
What if he can make it back?
back.
Huh?
or if you can do wudu and make it back again.
Yeah. Maybe in his car he's just got a bottle of water there. Can you do that?
Then you say, oh yes.
To make it back. So can you do tayammum?
Then no.
Yeah, okay. That's how you have to think about these masalas. So if this guy, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says, this guy can do tayammum. Sahibain say, no, this guy cannot do tayammum. Sahibain say the reason he can't do tayammum is he's got no reason to tayammum. Yeah, because in the Hanafi madhab, if you break your wudu, you can actually go from your wudu, come back, and even if the Imam is finished, you can continue your salat from where you left off, as though you're praying behind the Imam. So is there a need to do tayammum? They say no. Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says, now look, that's fine, what they're saying is fine. But Imam Abu Hanifa looks at this in a deeper level. So he pictures himself, imagines himself right over there. This is why whenever a scholar gives a fatwa, you always should try and put yourself in the shoes of the person asking the question. That's a big mistake that a lot of people make. They compare the questioner to themselves. Because you might be, let's say, your lifestyle might revolve around the masjid. You don't know what a guy who has to always travel up and down the country, the problems he has. So if you haven't experienced it, you'll make a mistake in answering the question. You might give a too harsh, strict answer to him. Does that make sense? Yeah. Likewise, if you're a man and you're giving answer a woman's masala, you might not know what she goes through. You don't know the problem she has at home. You don't know the situation she's in. So this is why it's always important to try and put yourself in the shoes of the questioner. So this is why when it comes to Imam Hanifa, he actually goes very deep into the masala. And he says, look, this guy, yes, he can go, even he can go home if it takes him 5-10 minutes to get home. He can go, perform his wudu, come back, and if the Imam's finished, he just finishes off himself. Yes. But the problem is, what's the likelihood of him going home without having to speak to anyone on Eid day? What's the likelihood? Very rare. Yeah. It'll be considered rude if he doesn't give salam to anyone. So that's why Imam Hanifa says, in this situation, this is an exemption from normal cases. That this situation is such that if this does happen to this guy, then he will most likely speak, hug, meet someone, and hence the salat will become nullified. He'd have to repeat his salat again. If he comes back to the park to pray his Eid, the Imam would have finished and he would have just missed his Eid. So it's just like a person who comes to the Eid salat and only has a bit of time. Does that make sense? Okay, so look at this. وَإِنْ أَحْدَثَ الْإِمَامِ وَالْمُقْتَدِي أو الْمُقْتَدِي. If the Imam or the follower was to break their wudu, remember we add here accidentally, okay? Because we know if deliberately they broke their wudu, they cannot continue their salat again. They have to start afresh. في صلاة الإيد تيمم, he does tayammum, وبنى عند أبي حنيفة. And according to Imam Hanifa, he continues his salat from where he left off. وَقَالَ لَا يَتَيَمُّمْ. Sahibain say no, he can't do tayammum. So what does he do then? If he can't do tayammum, what does he do? Does wudu. So when you read these kind of texts, these are the things that you have to be aware of. The Imam Hidayah al-Quduri may mention a text, but he misses lots of things out, thinking that the student knows these already. The reader knows these things. Yeah, so he's already got this big picture in his head, and he just has to mention a small little text, and the rest the student can fill in. Okay, what's the reason for Sahibin? لِأَنَّ اللَّاحِقْ يُصَلِّي بَعْدَ فَرَاغِ الْإِمَامِ. So look, you know, when in the usul I mentioned this to you guys as well in the videos. So the guy who prays behind the imam is three types of people. One is called someone who is known as a person who prays with the imam. He is called a mudrik. Number two is someone who's missed one or more rakats. He is known as a masbuq. And number three is someone who has started with the imam but left the salat because he broke his wudu, and then came back and has missed some rakats. He is known as a lahiq. Have you got that? What is he known as? So what does he do? So the masla of the lahiq is this. You know the lahiq, after the imam gives salam, the lahiq stands up, makes up his rakats but does not recite in there, because he assumes himself to be behind the imam. So he's not like the masbuq, you know, like when you imam gives salam and you missed a rakat or two, you get up and then you make up your own salat. That's a masbuq, you have to recite there. But the lahiq does not recite, because he's still considered to be behind the imam. Make sense? So look, he says, لِأَنَّ اللَّاحِقْ, Sahibin say, because the lahiq yusalli ba'da faragh al-imam, prays after the imam finishes. فَلَا يَخَافُ الْفَوْتِ. So therefore there is no fear of missing the Eid. وَلَهُ, Imam Hanifa says, أَنَّ الْخَوْفِ بَاقٍ. The fear of missing Eid is still there. Why? لِأَنَّهُ يَوْمُ زَحْمَةٍ. Because Eid is a day of a rush of people. فَيَعْتَرِيهِ عَارِضٌ. So on this day an obstacle could occur, يُفْسِدْ عَلَيْهِ صَلَاتُهُ, which would nullify upon him his salat. Like we said, hugging, meeting people, all that. وَالْخِلَافُ, right, خلاص. Everyone got up to there? Okay, this ikhtilaf of this masala, this is فيما إذا شرع بالوضوء. This masala is based upon the assumption that the guy has started his salat based on wudu. Imagine there's a guy who's ill and can't touch water, and he's done tayammum. If he was to break his wudu, yeah, what does he do? Everyone agrees he does tayammum, because he from the first time he wasn't able to do wudu, so therefore now he can continue. وَلَوْ شَرَعَ بِالتَّيَمُّمْ. If the guy was to actually start his Eid with tayammum, tayammama, he just does tayammum, وَبَنَى بِالْإِتِّفَاقِ, and he continues his salat in agreement. Everyone agrees. لِأَنَّ لَوْ أَوْجَبْنَا الْوُضُوء. Because if we were to make wudu necessary upon this tayammum guy, يَكُونُ وَاجِدًا لِلْمَاءِ, because now he'll be considered to be someone who can find or use water. فِي صَلَاتِ فَيُفْسِدْ. Yeah, so this would nullify his salat. Everyone got that? Make sense? Okay. Now look at this. This is another masala. Look. Imagine you got your car. You drive your car, drive, and you go into a desert. So what happened? In your car, what do you put in your car when you're going on a journey? Food, drink, maybe blanket, yeah, stuff you put in there for a journey. The masla is this, look. If you packed your car yourself, this masla doesn't apply. Yeah? This masla only applies if someone else packed your car for you. Your luggage, everything. Your wife packed it for you, or your family packed it for you, your friend packed it for you, and you just got in the car and you drove. Do you understand that? So let's say you got in the car, you don't know what's in the car, and you drove. You're in the desert, now Zohar time's come. Stop the car, you can't find water anywhere. What do? Can you do tayammum? Yeah, okay. You do tayammum, you get onto the musalla, you start praying. After you give salam, you finish your salat, you go back to the car. As you sit down, you realize right next to you on the floor there was a bottle of water, full bottle of water. And there was more than enough for you to drink and do wudu as well. Should you now repeat that salat again, or is it done?
It's done.
You think it's done? Why?
Because at that time, because you didn't know there was water, that's the same as having.
So you're saying not knowing ignorance of this, not knowing this, is sufficient for you to be able to do taymum?
Yeah.
Okay. Did that?
I say no. He's fine with that.
So he's got to repeat it. And what do you say? So you're saying that salat that he had prayed was from the beginning was wrong, like someone who later on found out they didn't have wudu. You saying that? What are you saying? Are you with group A, group B?
But is it within that time of that salah still?
Yeah, he's still got time.
So he's still within, like, Zohar is still,
Yeah.
Zohar still falls in that time.
Still in the Zohar time. Yeah, you understand? So there's a ikhtilaf here in this. On one side you have Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Muhammad. On the other side you have Imam Abu Yusuf. According to Imam Abu Hanifa, Muhammad, he's with them. And you guys are with, or not you, you're with Imam Abu Yusuf. Does that make sense? So Imam Abu Yusuf says the guy's got to repeat his salat again. Why does he have to say that? So look, وَالْمُسَافِرْ إِذَا نَسِيَ الْمَاءِ, a musafir who forgets water in his car, فَتَيَمَّ, and does tayammum, فَصَلَّى, and then pray, وَصَلَّى, and then prays. ثُمَّ ذَكَرَ الْمَاء, and then afterwards, after he finishes salat. So here, hidden, you have to understand, after he finishes salat. ثُمَّ ذَكَرَ الْمَاء. If he remembers the salat inside the salat, if he remembers the water inside the salat, what happens?
Breaks.
Breaks in it, because obviously now wajid al-ma. Yeah, he's found the water. Anyway, he doesn't remember the water. After he finishes salat, goes back to the car to have a little rest, finds a bottle of water. Lam yu'idha, he doesn't have to repeat the salat. In the Abi Hanifa Muhammad rahimahullah ta'ala. Wa qala Abu Yusuf yu'iduha. And Abu Yusuf says no, he must repeat his salat. Okay, what's the basis of this ikhtilaf? Al-khilafu fima idha wada'ahu binafsihi. This masla is based upon فيما إذا وضعه بنفسه, if he placed the water there himself, أو وضعه غيره بأمره. Yeah, this ikhtilaf occurs based on this. Okay, so what did I say in the beginning?
He said, if you place it yourself, then it doesn't apply.
No, this masala doesn't apply. So look, if he, that's a mistake, so delete that then, change that. So basically the masla is this, look, if someone else placed it in his car and he didn't know about this, so let's say someone's put a bottle of water in his boot a few days ago, they borrowed his car, went on a journey, put a big bottle of water in his boot, he didn't know. Everyone agrees he doesn't have to repeat his salat again. Everyone agrees. The ikhtilaf appears where he himself has packed his luggage or he's told someone else to pack the luggage for him. This is where this ikhtilaf occurs. So if I said that, change it. وَالْخِلَافُ فِيمَا إِذَا وَضَعَهُ بِنَفْسِهِ أَوْ وَضَعَهُ غَيْرُهُ بِأَمْرِهِ. Or someone else has put it there, but he's told him to put it there. Okay, finished. وَذِكْرُهُ فِي الْوَقْتِ وَبَعْدُهُ سَوَى. Whether he remembers this water within the time of Zuhr or after Zuhr has expired is exactly the same. Abu Hanifa and Muhammad say does not have to repeat it. Imam Abu Yusuf says has to repeat it. What does Imam Abu Yusuf say? لَهُ أَنَّهُ وَاجِدٌ لِلْمَاءِ. He says he is considered to be someone who has found water. فَصَارَ. And so this masla is like إِذَا كَانَ فِي رَحْلِهِ ثَوْبٌ فَنَسِيَهُ. Like imagine you got a jubba, you went to the beach, you put your shorts on, yeah, and then you took your top off to go swimming in the sea, and when you came back you totally forgot that you had clothes in the car, yeah, and so what did you do? You prayed with your aura exposed, you prayed in your small shorts, yeah. Then Imam Yusuf goes, you go back to your car, you realize you had your clothes there. He says, oh, in that case, you have to repeat the salat again. So if you have to repeat the salat again, if you forgot your clothes in the car, then if you forgot water, you should repeat the salat as well. Yeah, so كَمَا إِذَا كَانَ فِي رَحْلِهِ. Just as if in his transport, there was thawb, فَنَسِيَهُ, and forgot it. That's the first dalil. That's the first point. Second point, لأن رحل المسافر معدن للماء, because normally a transport for safar usually has what in there? Ma'adin. It's a place where water is kept normally. Ma'adin, it means like Ma'adin usually refers to what do you call it? Like, you know, ore, gold, silver is found inside of a rock. Ore, O-R-E. That's called a ma'adin. So in other words, water is normally found inside of a traveler's car. That's the normal thing you find in a traveler's car. Everyone got that? So أنه واجد للماء, that he is لأن الرحل المسافر معدن للماء عادة. Yeah, so water is normally indigenous, you can say, to a traveler's car, عادة. And therefore يفترض الطلب عليه, therefore he has to request it or seek it. He has to go and seek for this water now. Yeah, normally a traveler's car must have this in it. ولهما, the طرفين, they say أنه لا قدرة بدون العلم. There is no qudra. In other words, remember we said before that Allah says in the Quran, وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً. We said the tajidu refers to taqdiru. You don't have ability to use it. So there is no ability without knowledge. So look at this, it works like this. Allah says in the Quran, wajda. Wujud cannot happen without qudra, ability. And ability cannot happen without ilm. So if you don't have ilm of water, how can you have qudra? If you don't have qudra, how can you have wujud? Make sense? Yeah, so لا قدرة بدون العلم وهو المراد بالوجود. That is what wujud refers to. Wujud refers to knowing. Like if I say to you, have you found it? You only find something if you know it's there. وماء الرحل معد للشرب. Yes, the water in a transport is normally there prepared for drinking purposes, not for wudu purposes. You don't put like loads of water in your car for wudu. Make sense? لا للاستعمال. So therefore that position that they brought for Imam Abu Yusuf, that argument is flawed. And the argument that they bring for Imam Abu Yusuf regarding the clothing, yeah, so you prayed in your shorts. وَمَسَلَةُ الثَّوْبِ الْإِخْتِلَافِ. Even this masala is differed between Imam Abu Yusuf and Tarafain. So if this masala is differed, you can't bring it as a means of evidence. Because إِذَا جَاءَ الْإِحْتِمَالِ بَطَلَ الْإِسْتِدْلَالِ, like they say. إِذَا جَاءَ الْإِحْتِمَالِ, whenever some sort of a possibility comes inside of a masala, it's not absolutely 100%, then you can't use as evidence.
So if there's a khilaf in one masala, you can't extend it to another masala.
Yeah, you cannot use as argument. That's what usul is. إذا جاء الاحتمال بطل الاستدلال. Okay, so ولو كان على الاتفاق. He said, for argument's sake, let's say all the Hanafis agreed about the clothing masala. Let's, for argument's sake, even agree that. لو كان الاتفاق ففرض الستر يفوت لا إلى خلف. So look now. You know, if you don't have water, what do you do in substitution for it? Huh? Tayammum, yeah. So tayammum is a khalf of what? Water. If you can't do ruku and sajda, what's in place of it? Ishara. If you don't have clothing, what's in place of it? Nothing. There's nothing in place of it. So therefore you can't compare the two masalas together. This is called qiyas ma'al fariq. Qiyas ma'al fariq. Does that make sense? So the two things are totally different. So even for argument's sake, if we were to agree that praying your clothing with praying salat without the clothing and then finding your clothing, you have to repeat the salat again. You can't use that masala to support this masala. Yeah, why? Because fardu satri yafut la ila khalaf. Because the obligation of satr, it's gone, it's lost to no substitute, la khalaf. وَالطَّهَارَةُ بِالْمَاءِ تَفُوتُ إِلَى خَلَفٍ. And tahara with water, if you can't do that, the next best thing you can do is tayammum khalf. وَهُوَ tayammum. So everyone understand that? This is called qiyas ma'al fariq. I mentioned this to you guys before. So when you have a masala where you're trying to compare two things together, like if I say this to you, you're not allowed to drink tea because alcohol is haram. What do you mean? Because alcohol is watery and tea is watery. Then you go, wait a minute, alcohol makes you drunk, tea does not make you drunk. You can't compare the two. So this is known as qiyas ma'al fariq. Make sense? Okay. Next. Right. Let's say, for example, we're in the wilderness now. So, like remember I told you before, there will always be water everywhere on earth. There will always be. But it all depends upon how far can you go to get that water. So he says, ليس على المتيمم طلب الماء إذا لم يغلب على ظن أنه بقرب ماء. So in your mind, how certain are you? Let's say you're in a desert area. How certain are you that there is water nearby? So depending on where you are, the level of certainty is going to be different. Some places, 100%. If you're on the beach, 100% that there's water there. But if you're in somewhere in the wilderness, you might think, oh, you know what, 50%, I don't know if there's water here. Yeah, meaning water I can get to. There might be that water 100 meters under the ground. Can't get to. So what level of certitude do you need to go search for water? So he says, Laysa al-mutayammim. A person of tayammum does not have to seek water إِذَا لَمْ يَغْلِبْ عَلَى ظَنِّهِ, if the certainty, level of certainty is not a ghalib al-dhan. Yeah? In other words, he doesn't have the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't have predominant opinion. Like we say, most likely water is around here. أَنَّ بِقُرْبِ مَاءٍ لِأَنَّ الْغَالِبْ عَدَمُ الْمَاءِ, because most likely there won't be water fil falawat in wilderness. وَلَا دَلِيلَ al-wujud, and there's no dalil for water being. What's a dalil for there to be water? You hear water, you might hear like a fountain, you might hear a spring, you might hear a waterfall. That's a dalil that there's water there. Or what other thing can you see, like if you're in a wilderness, that there's water around? Huh?
In the wilderness you see
The water, like glistening in the water in the distance. You might see lots of animals nearby. That's a sign there's water there. You might see a lot of greenery there. So these are all signs. So he goes, if you're in a desert where there's no sign, therefore most likely there's no water there. فَلَمْ يَكُنْ وَاجِدًا لِلْمَاءِ, hence you don't consider this guy to be wajid. وَإِنْ غَلَبَ عَلَى ظَنِّهِ, however, the opposite. If he predominantly believes that أَنَّ هُنَاكَ مَاء, that there is water over here, لَمْ يَجُزْ لَهُ أَنْ يَتَيَمَّمْ حَتَّى يَطْلُبَهُ. It's not permissible for him to do tayammum until he looks for it, requests it. لِأَنَّهُ وَاجِدٌ لِلْمَاءِ, because he is considered to be someone who has found water. نَظَرًا إِلَى الدَّلِيلِ, he hasn't found water, but because the signs of water are quite strong there, it's as though he's found it already. Yeah, maybe he's in a place and he can hear a river flowing very fast. Yeah, so that sound means he's found water. ثُمَّ يَطْلُبُ مِقْدَرَ غَلْ. Now the next thing is, how far does he have to go? Yeah, so let's say for example I'm in a desert, I can see water right in the distance. Right in the distance I can see, and there's that water is, that maybe mile, 2 miles, 3 miles away. So he goes, يَطْلُبْ مِقْدَارَ الْغَلْوَةِ. He goes in search of water for the distance of 1 ghalwa. A ghalwa is like, throwing of a stone. So the furthest you can throw a stone. وَلَا يَبْلُغُ مِيلًا. But he shouldn't go more than a mile. Yeah. Why? كَيْ لَا يَنْقَطِعَ عَنْ رِفْقَتِهِ. So that he doesn't break away from the rest of the caravan. Because normally when people used to travel in the olden days, they used to travel in groups. So let's say one guy has to go to fetch water. If he goes to fetch water, what might happen is the caravan might go without him. Then he's left in the desert and he's got to fend for his life. Dangerous. Make sense? Okay, next. What if his friends have water? So you're on a journey, you're in a car, and salat time comes, and your friend's got water. Do you have to ask him? Make sense? Who does the water belong to? Your friend, isn't it? So do you have to ask your friend for your friend's property? إن كان مع رفيقه ما طلب منه قبل أن يتيمم. He must request it from him. Yeah, because normally a friend will give you. He must request from him before he does tayammum. لعدم المنع غالبا, because normally friends do not refuse giving you water. فإن منعه, yes, if he says sorry I can't give you, this water is, I need this for my drinking or for my children. منعه تيمم. Why? لتحقق العجز, because now he has ajz hukmi, he has incapability. Islamically he's considered to be incapable. ولو تيمم, okay, let's say he didn't ask, he did tayammum before he requested from his mate, قبل الطلب. Is that tayammum valid, and is the salat he prayed with that valid? So أجزأه عند أبي حنيفة. Imam Abu Hanifa رحمه الله says yes, it's fine. Why? لأنه لا يلزمه طلب ملك من ملك الغير. You don't have to go to someone else and ask their property from them. Water is his property. So Islamically, Allah does not burden a person that much that they have to go to someone else and ask their property from them. Water is property. Does that make sense? Sahibain say no. قال لا يجزئه لأن الماء مبذول عادة. Sahibain say no, he has to repeat his salat again if he prayed with it. Because normally water is used. Whether you use it, whether I use it, it's normally used. And people generally do not prevent each other from using water. Do you understand that? So Imam Abu Hanifa looks at it in an usuli perspective, usul, which is you don't have to request your friend, and Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad look at it as a general kind of urf, social practice. وَلَوْ أَبَى أَن يُؤْتِيَهُ, what if his friend refuses to give him? إِلَّا بِثَمَنِ الْمِثَلِ. His friend said, right, I'll give you the water, but you have to give me money. So he's got like a bottle of water. The bottle of water costs 50p. 50 pence water. Then should he buy the water? Huh? Yes or no?
As long as it's not extortionate.
As long as it's not extortionate. So as long as it's a normal rate that they sell in the shops. وَإِنْدَهُ ثَمَنَهُ لَا يُجْزِئُ تَيَمُّمْ. If he has the money to give, he is not allowed to do tayammum. What if he doesn't have the money? He's charging 50 pence. He doesn't even have 50 pence. Then does tayammum. So لِتَحَقُّقِ الْقُدْرَةِ, because in this case there's qudra, so he has to buy that water. وَلَا يَلْزَمُهُ تَحَمُّلُ الْغَبْنِ الْفَاحِشِ. However, he does not have to bear or tolerate غَبْن fahish, extortion rates. So the guy says, okay, you need water, I'll sell it to you for 20 pounds one bottle. No, he doesn't have to do that. لأن الضرر مسكت, because this is a qaida in fiqh, which is darar muskit. In other words, if there's a burden that comes upon you that's going to harm your wealth or your health, then that drops rulings, that does. Okay, we'll stop there. Everyone got that? Any questions?